Guys, welcome back for another Sims 4 speed build. So today I have a large lot build here in Willow Creek. It's where the BFFs used to live, and yes, they have been booted to the deep, dark depths of my sim files. Plus summer got on my nerves anyways, but as I'm sure you can tell from the thumbnail, I built 3 houses here on this lot. The first house is probably the largest house on the lot, but all of the homes I built here kind of have like an older style home vibe, and then the last one I tried to make it seem like they did some renovations before they moved in. I'm so glad that we have for rent now. I never build on large lots like this just because big houses and mansion type builds are just not my thing. They never turn out for me, so now I love being able to build multiple homes on one lot. I have not really done an apartment complex yet, but that should be coming in the near future. I've been trying to build one, and I'm kind of struggling with the floor plan a little bit. And I don't want it to feel like over cluttered or like claustrophobic, because sometimes I feel like in those builds they tend to be like smaller like hallways and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure I get the perfect floor plan before I go ahead and list those here on my channel. But I know For Rent came out a while ago, but that is like a must-have expansion pack for me in my personal gameplay. I like more of the city and like suburban feel, and I feel like For Rent gives me that. Like you can build on top of each other or really close, and I like that kind of gameplay. I like that kind of realism. I guess that's just what I'm used to, based on the area that I live. But we just got the Riviera Retreat Pool based kit, which has some really stunning pieces in my opinion that can be used for many styles. And then we also got the Cozy Bistro kit not long ago. They actually came out at the same time, but they're both giving me like Mediterranean / Italian vibes, and they've been teasing us with a romance themed expansion pack, so I'm kind of excited for that. I'm hoping we get another world similar to Tartosa from My Wedding Stories, because that is probably my all-time favorite world, right there next to Brindleton Bay. And then with the Horse Ranch expansion, my favorite thing to do is to have my Sims make wine, and I really, really, really love building wineries, which I have a couple that I need to upload, and those should be up soon. But yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see what the next expansion pack's main theme will be. Like, are we talking dating app or like romantic honeymoon pack, which both seem kind of redundant to me in a way, because like they can already go on dates, and we have the My Wedding Stories XP. So, and then we also have vacation worlds like Granite Falls, Patu, which we won't talk about. And I do believe that Selva Dorada is one too, that we got with Jungle Adventure, which now that I say it out loud, I know for 100% fact that is definitely a destination / vacation world. And then we also have Solani, which if you guys are anything like me, you only take your Sims there for vacation or honeymoons, because I let them live. When I let them live there, I get jealous that my Sims get to live near the ocean, and I just can't bear that gameplay. I swear I was supposed to live on the coast, any coast. But anyways, about the house, originally I wanted to do one house at a time. That way if I had to break up the speed build video, I could do like a house and then show the other houses later. But I wanted to make sure that I could fit all 3 houses on this one lot. So what I ended up doing was I did the house shape and the landscapings of all 3 houses before I did the interior, just to make sure I liked the way it was laid out and how everything looked. But I did have 12 hours of recorded footage, and I was able to break it down into like 36 minutes. And I really didn't have to cut that much content out, but I did cut out floor plans, me putting in flooring and wallpapers, bathrooms, laundry rooms, things like that. Just that, there's not much variety to those rooms anyways, so They're all pretty similar. They're all pretty basic. Also, I just want to give the Sims team a shout out for the scalped roofing that I put on the middle house. That is my favorite roofing detail that we have in the game. And then they also added a scalloped umbrella onto one of the tables from the Riviera pool kit thing that we got. So I love anything with scallop detailing in The Sims in real life. So I just really love the detail that they added into those things. But now I'm working on the exterior of the third house, which is super cute, super basic. I do end up changing the color scheme of this house from cream to a like light sagey green color. And then I got rid of the red brick and I used like a whitewash brick. And I just thought it looked really cute against, the white column detailings on the corner of the house. This house is probably my favorite. It's simple, but it just has a lot of character. I also added in the air conditioning unit that we got for rent, up into like the attic space. For this house too, I also added some terrain tool to give the house some height. The first two houses are 3 levels. They both have 2 floors and an intended attic space. So for the house that I'm working on now, I wanted it to fit well. So I ended up just raising the terrain, and then I added the brick fencing around the yard, which turned out perfectly thanks to the tool mod. So then I just added some bushes and flowers to the area to kind of hide the gap there. I've been doing this a lot with my houses actually, and I love the way it turns out every time. I feel like it just gives the house another dimension. And then also with these houses, I used a lot of terrain paint as opposed to flooring. And I feel like it kind of gave it that older look because I used the terrain paint to kind of manipulate it in a way where it looked like it was either faded or there was like grass growing over them, and kind of giving it that worn out feel or look. And then as you can tell, the first house has the biggest yard, and to be honest, I really hated like boxing everybody's yard in, but I felt like that looked best. And I love the way every single backyard of this build turned out. I think the backyards have so much character. I feel like it helps tell the story that I had when I was building this house, which I will get into once we move on to the interior of these homes. I've also really been enjoying the tool mod lately for, what it's intended to do, the whole tool take objects off lot. And I've been decorating the surrounding areas of like the lots that I'm building on. And you would be surprised of how much aesthetic it adds to the game. I've been adding cars in the street. I've been adding like extra neighborhood light poles. I added some swing sets, fountains, benches, and other stuff just like randomly throughout the world. And other Sims that are not a part of my household are interacting with them. And it just makes it feel like the game is so much more alive. Like, it's just the whole, like, seeing other Sims interacting with objects that aren't on my lot, but, like, they're still there and, like, living throughout the world. I feel like The Sims 3 was so different in that aspect of, like, realism. Like, I really can't find the word that I want to use, but it would just make sense. Like, if X lived next to you, you would see X, like, going to school or going to work, or if you went like downtown, you would see that person. And I feel like in The Sims 4, it's just so random all the time. And I feel like there's no interactions that mean anything. Like, they're all the same. It always looks the same. Like in The Sims 3, we had interests and fears, and I just really want to see like that aspect of The Sims 4 come into play. And I don't even know like what I want out of it, if that makes any sense. I just want a little bit more like realism and like better meaningful interactions. Anyways, I don't know, moving on. But now I'm just going ahead and I'm doing all of the landscaping, which I kept pretty simple, and I made it kind of match. So like I used the same flowers and bushes. I used a couple different trees, but kind of just wanted to make it like flow and make it look like they were all kind of separate but had similar type items. The corner house that we have which is the first house closest to the corner, like I just said, or like the curb. It's 2 bedrooms, but I added a makeshift style bedroom in the attic. It also has a ton of bathrooms. There are 3 upstairs. 1 is attached to the master bedroom, and then we have 2 hallway bathrooms. Then there's also a half bath downstairs off of the living room. They also do have a laundry room, and that is where I added the attic access with a ladder. The home is decorated with like a dark tone wood base, giving it that kind of outdated feel, but like not grungy or dirty. And for the parents, I imagined a husband in like the business career, and the mom is a stay-at-home mom, or like maybe she works part-time as a, you know, like one of the cafe workers. But is very active in like the kids' activities and their schooling. She's the type of mom that would probably make dinner every night except for Friday. Maybe they go out or they dash some food. I also had the idea that this house was like a very working class and family oriented home and family. I have it furnished for a family of 2 teen boys that are twins, and their room is the room that is in the attic. And then I also added a smaller room on the 2nd floor furnished for a girl child, which I kind of imagined more of a child-based age, like 7 or 8 years old. Her room is pink, and it has like some stuffed animals and things that you would imagine a smaller child to have in their bedroom. The boys, I have their bedroom decorated for interests of like sports, music, video games. I've got a ton of posters on the wall. I had the idea though that the twins they couldn't be any more opposite from one another. One is I have him interested in football, girls, working out, like socializing with friends. I had the idea that maybe he was on the football team at the high school. He's very like social and like very interested in girls. Maybe he has a girlfriend. And then the other brother, I had the idea that he was more like self-reserved, interested in music. I added a guitar on his side of the room, and then I also added a DJ booth, and I thought maybe like he is the smarter one. He's very like academically smart, book smart. Maybe he's on the chess team at the school, but I had the idea that maybe he was very smart, but he wanted to have a career in music, and his parents are kind of like trying to persuade him to stay away from that. But I did add the DJ booth, and I thought that maybe it would be cool if he had a career in that aspect. You know, maybe he was a little socially awkward, but, you know, with the help of his brother, it can kind of get his career to take off. Like, I thought maybe his parents wanted them to both go to college, and the one that is more interested in like sports and girls and socializing and making friends plans on going to university, but the one that you would think would go to university actually wants to take part in being a DJ, or, you know, maybe he can become famous with the Get Famous pack. Also, like I said before, I decorated this house in a way to make it feel like the family had lived here for a really long time. Like, I used mix match wood tones and furniture, and like I wanted this to feel like maybe this was a house that they bought, you know, right when they first got married and raised their family in this house and never wanted to sell. Like, I thought to, instead of buying a bigger home to fit the needs of the family when they found out that they were having the girl, that instead of selling the house, they would just refinish the attic. And, you know, like, I have a bunch of weird clutter around the house, like those books in the kitchen, like it's just kind of like overflow, but they don't want to move. They love their house. They want to keep the memories for the kids, and like maybe when they have grandkids, you know, they can stay there, or they could pass the house down to one of the boys or the daughter. I also didn't mention that this house has a like a patio-based backyard. They do have a swimming pool. I was also able to throw a basketball hoop in the backyard. I've got some bikes on the side of the house. And then in the front of the house, I added some of the cones. I think they're from the high school years expansion pack. But I added those and I kind of like staggered them to make it look like he was passing the soccer ball, like weaving in and out of the cones. And then I also thought, when I get to the neighbor's house, you'll see me put down another soccer ball in like a pink swatch. And I thought maybe the girl of interest was the girl next door. But I kind of had the idea that the sporty socializing brother kind of has a thing for the girl next door, and she also is very into soccer and socializing, and maybe she's on the cheerleading team at the high school, and that all three of them are really, really close friends, and maybe both brothers like the girl next door, but they're definitely feeling each other the two sportier of the brother and the girl next door. But now we've made way into the living room, and I don't know what it is about this living room, but this just gives me like super cozy vibes. I don't know if it's like the dark wood tone with the cream paint, or like nothing screams more cozy to me than a fireplace with a TV above it and like just comfy cushiony couches. But I had the idea that, maybe this is like dad's headquarters. This is where he comes after work. This is most likely where you will find him. He's got some, of his pictures up on the wall. And I did add a family computer. And for the dad, I kind of had the idea that he was a little bit closer to the sporty son. Just because he can relate, and like maybe they pass the football back and forth, and maybe the smarter of the two brothers has a better bond with dad, just because of their interest in sports. I thought about adding like a club with the functionality of the Get Together expansion pack for the mom, maybe like a book club or something, and they meet like once or twice a week, just to find her like some friends, just because the kids are a little bit older. But now I'm just really finishing up the backyard. I added a lot of the same flowers from the front yard. I added a pool floaty. I added the basketball hoop and the basketball. I also added some seating areas, a grill, and some planter boxes. But I really don't have anybody in the house that really uses them, but I just thought it would be like a fun touch to have that in the backyard. Maybe they can grow like an apple tree or something. I also had the idea that the kids, since the two boys are teens and then the daughter is a child sim, that maybe they kind of bond, in the pool area, and that the neighbor girl comes over to swim with them and they're all like really close. And maybe sometimes the girl next door sometimes babysits for the mom of this house if her and the dad go out to eat or whatever. But I did add the water balloon bucket from, I think it's gotta be Backyard Stuff Pack, but I think the animations on that are so cute. So I did add that into the backyard as an extra activity for this household. I've been on like a more realistic kick lately when building, and I feel like all three of these houses are like super old style floor plans, tall, skinny, and like I just imagine them having like a lot of character. The one thing that I wish we could do would be like vaulted ceilings, or like removing the flooring on a roof so that you could see like the roof style. I think that would be so fun, like for the house when I did the attic in this room, for the ceilings to be like maybe a little bit lower or like just shaped differently. I really hope that we get features like that with whatever expansion pack or build kit that they come out with next. But I just finished the daughter's room, and now we are in the master bedroom. I said that the girls' bathroom was a hallway bathroom, but then I forgot that the stairway was in the way. So what I ended up doing was I just connected the daughter's bathroom to her room, and then the bathroom is connected to the master bedroom. And then there's also a bathroom for the boys that comes off of the laundry room. I can't remember if I cut out the footage of the laundry room. I know I did the bathrooms, but for the girls' bathroom or the daughter's bathroom, I did paint it pink and like kind of decorated it towards her age. And then in the parents' bathroom, it's actually a pretty big bathroom for me because I usually do like a 6-tile bathroom, but theirs turned out really nice. And I think they have a jacuzzi, bathtub, and a shower. They have a 2-person sink and, you know, everything else that they need for the bathroom. You guys did get a little glimpse of the laundry room and the master bedroom bathroom. But I do, at the end of my speed builds, I do like a floor plan shot, and I did them all separately so you could see each house and its floor plan from like a bird's eye view, just so you kind of get a better idea of how these houses are flowing and like walkways. I did forget to add the master bedroom door, so I was trying to find something to decorate the wall with, but I ended up going in and adding that door. So I've play tested this build. Everything works fine. But now we are in the attic bedroom, and this is probably my favorite part of this whole entire build. I thought the attic layout was perfect. Like, it's awkwardly shaped and it's just like super roomy. Like, there's nothing in the middle of the room. So what I tried to do was I kind of tried to section things off. I gave them that little desk in the corner. I do end up getting rid of the clutter that I had at the top of the stairs, because that's where I ended up putting the DJ booth. But I gave them like a little TV entertainment center with our new TV from the stuff, or the party stuff pack. And it's got like those LED lights on the back. And I just thought that was kind of like a cool touch for the guys in their room. But it does have like video games. They've got a radio. I tried to clutter it with like controllers. I put one under the couch, like, so you could just kind of see it, just to kind of give it that realistic touch. I did try to decorate above their bed so you know which twin was which if you end up deciding to go with my story for this house. But the artsier one, you know, music loving one is closest to the desk, and then the sports lover, he is closest to the street. I was so mad when I made this because this is actually my second time building this, and so I'm kind of moving all over the place because I was trying to remember what I had where. My game crashed and I lost so much footage for this house during this build, and I was so mad. I had to like go back and watch the old footage so I knew what I had put down, because I'd really liked the way it was turning out. And my game crashed, and it's actually been happening a lot lately, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know if I have like an update, if I need to update a mod, or if it's just like the game in general, but I've really been struggling with saves lately. I even had to redo this room, and I was so mad because I cluttered the little wall table so nicely, and it took me forever to figure out what I wanted to use. And again, my game just crashed. I was actually building the last house, and my computer was so full of like media that it wouldn't let me record the voiceover for it. So I had to stop recording and I had to delete files off of my build, but I still didn't have enough room to finish the last house. So I started with the pictures of the last house because it just made sense to me, since it like randomly cut out in that general area and you could kind of tell where I picked back up. But now we are on into the second house, and this is the neighbor girl that I thought that the twin boys liked. She's also a teenager. Like I said, I think her interests are going to be like cheerleading, socializing. Maybe she's into that trendy app and all the things that we got with the High School Years expansion pack. But for the parents of this house, I envisioned that they were both school teachers. So the kitchen of this house, they have a dining room and then they have this kitchen, obviously. And I put an island on in like the middle in between the doors, and I have a table connected to the island, and I have it cluttered with like books and what looks like school papers, and then I added some art that I think maybe the kids made at school and she didn't want to throw it away, so she just like brought it home and put it on her fridge. I thought maybe the dad was more like high school age and then the mom was more of like an elementary age teacher. This kitchen turned out probably to be one of my favorites. I don't know if it's like the blue or if it's the counters from the Hustle Kitchen pack that we got, but something about this kitchen I just really adore. But now I'm just kind of adding the clutter, like I said, to kind of tell the story of the people who lived here. I have a coffee machine because that's pretty essential, and I feel like every teacher I know always has a cup of coffee. And again, for this build, I also, like I said, didn't want it to have like a dirty, grungy type feel, but like more outdated, but lived in and like still acceptable. And I feel like all the appliances that I used in this kitchen and like the style of the countertops and like even the light that I have hanging down over the island all made sense to fit like an older home that, you know, is maybe due for some upgrades or like maybe even just like a new coat of paint over the tile. I was going to originally add in the back of the house, there's like a little bump out, and I was going to add a laundry room, but it was just really big and I just didn't like the way I was like arranging stuff for that to be the laundry room. So what I ended up doing was I took the laundry room out and then I added a side door onto the like deck area. But they have a really, really nice screened in porch on the back, and like it definitely gives me that, you know, 80s, 70s type sunroom, but with the screens instead of the glass that we have now. But that's probably one of my favorite rooms in this whole house. I so badly would love to have my own sunroom. When I was growing up, we had our own sunroom, and I remember the only thing that I remember from that, and that being like a childhood thing, was my mom had a Pompous chair, and it was so uncomfortable, but it was so cool. And then I also remember the heat in the room because it's like 3 sides of glass, and then our house was brick, so like the outer layer, the sunroom was like basically butted up against the house, like it was a part of the structure, but it was so hot. That brick would get so hot you could feel it, and like the windows used to get so hot, and like when my mom would put Windex on them, the Windex would like dissolve so fast before she could even wipe it. That's how hot that room got. But we loved it. We used to eat breakfast out there, and she would make waffles when we had sleepovers, and like that was just, I remember all of that stuff in that room. That was such a fun room. I remember one time for Christmas, Santa brought me a bike and he put it in the sunroom, and I had no idea until my mom and dad told me that Santa left me a bike in the sunroom. But for this build, it looks like the cat gets to enjoy the sunroom more than anybody else. But since I talked over the entire living room, I think I should go back in and I add some like awards on the wall. And I thought maybe like these were awards that they had gotten while they were teaching over the years, and they just decided to display them in the living room. But I really enjoyed the basement treasure kit for this living room. I wanted it again to have, I don't know, those could be pretty grungy looking to me, but I don't feel like in this build they looked that bad. And I really liked them because they looked nice and soft and like for comfort, not for like decoration. So those pieces of furniture are what I tended to go for in all 3 of these builds really. But that bookcase I also put in the living room for this house is one of my favorite bookcases, and I always forget about it, but I do end up gravitating towards it when I do remember it. Now we're just kind of working on the backyard, and I forgot I gave them a hot tub, but they have a hot tub, they have that little sunroom addition, and then they have a nice little seating area, and then I did do a little bit of landscaping, not much, but I did add a tanning towel out there because I figured that she liked to be tan and, you know, she cares about her appearance. And in the upstairs, I still kind of stuck with like the, you know, older type styled furniture, but this bed, I've never used this bed before and I absolutely love it. It's definitely like mid-century, maybe even mid-century modern, but I don't know why I've never used this bed and I specifically love it in this swatch. I'm now working on the daughter's bedroom, the teenager, and it's really, really small, but the way that it is cluttered, like it totally made sense for this to be a teenager's room. I was able to give her some of the tiny living furniture just to kind of make her room more functional. She has a dresser. I don't know if she'll be able to function with it, but I have a ton of closets in this build. There's 2 closets in the hallway that leads to the master bedroom, and then there's also a bathroom. So it's right, there's 2 closets right across from the bathroom. And then they also do have an extra living area that I shoved a TV in and some bookcases, and then I kind of decorated it. I maybe thought the daughter comes up here to watch shows when they're downstairs watching TV, or it's basically just like a loft area. And then an extra bathroom. And then in this house, I also added another attic space, but I just put in a cheerleader floor mat and some chairs, and I thought maybe her and her cheerleading friends come here to practice their routine and they hang out at her house all the time. But that's pretty much it for this second house, and then here shortly we'll be moving on to the third house, where I have another fun little story for you guys. So for the third and final house, I had the idea that this house was an older house like the other 2, but when they moved in, they did some remodeling before they had, you know, decided to actually move in, like maybe after they had bought it. And when I say remodeling, I mean more so like touched up paint, maybe added some hardwood floors. And I also had the idea that they were like a younger couple. So also that kind of like plays through, like they weren't able to like put in marble countertops and like brand new bathrooms, but they were able to come in and paint and do some of the smaller things for a little bit more like curb appeal. So like I said, I had the idea that they were like a younger couple. I also thought that maybe they were expecting their first child or already have an infant aged child. I also had the idea that maybe the father of this house was in grad school and she is maybe, you know, finding herself and trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. But I wanted him to get into the medical career and become a doctor. I also went for like a boho type neutral or natural type look for this build, and I think I nailed it. But my favorite part of this whole house is the washer and dryer. I added behind the kitchen, and I added like a little curtain to make it look like that's what she uses to hide that area. And I love the way it turned out. And then the foyer of this house, where the front door is and you walk in, the bathroom's right there on the right, and then it has a tiny little couch and just like a little bit of decorations, but I think it turned out perfect. The floor plan for this house is very open too, which I am not very good at, but I feel like it worked perfectly for me in this house. Again, we're in the kitchen and I switched out the tile on the backsplash of the kitchen. Again, I thought like maybe they just painted it instead of like replacing the tile, so I took the brown out and I put the white back in. But they have a cute little dining area with a high chair and a little bit more like modernized decorations. So and then I kind of sprinkled out some infant type clutter that you might find just laying around the house, and I actually had fun with that. And then I added some toy bins, and that's pretty much it for the downstairs. I didn't really add much in there back patio area, but in their backyard I did add some lounging chairs, which you saw probably in the beginning of this video, a fire pit, and like a cool little wooden bench for them to sit on. But we're gonna go to the upstairs, but that's where I ended up losing a lot of my footage, and my computer wouldn't let me like record it and then add the voiceover. So I ended up just kind of cutting it short. You'll get to see me build a little bit of definitely the nursery. I think the nursery is fine, but I did lose a lot of doing their master bedroom, which, I mean, I really didn't decorate it all that extravagant. I just pretty much put a bed, some dressers. It's actually, I mean, it's cute. So that's pretty much it for this speed build, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can download this from the gallery with my ID KAYHMAR, and I hope you guys enjoyed this speed build. I'll see you next time.